Hello everyone, welcome. My name is BadCode. How's everybody doing? Yeah, we're back at it with another video. Today we will be scripting, mainly for QBox, but probably in the future we'll pick up the same code and prepare it for other frameworks, but that's in the next video. So this video is going to be about stashes. We're going to make a little script. I know there are a lot out there, you can use whatever you want, but knowing what's happening in there is also something good to learn in the process, and what you know can help you out in the future, So this one is prepared for QBox and mostly oxinventory and oxlib. I will use both of those. We will start from 0. I already had this script made. It's on a GitHub. I will place a link in the description, and I'll speak about that later in the video. So, but we're going to start from scratch. We're going to make something very, very similar from what's there. The one that's there has a lot more stuff in it, but it will derive from what we're doing here. This is more to explain what's going on. So let's get into it, right? So let's go to your VPS server and we'll talk there. Okay, before we start off, first thing you have to do is create a directory for your script. I'm going to use this name. You can use whatever one you want. If you use this structure to load up your scripts, you're good. You don't have to do anything. If you don't, you do have to ensure on your ensure this name, ensure space bc/stashes in your server.cfg. But if you're using this, all you have to do is create a directory and you're good. Inside the directory, I did create a file to what to do. We'll see that in a few seconds. But before we do that, we're going to use VS Code. So open a new window of your VS Code. Drag your BC stashes directory. It doesn't have to. It won't have this file, but you can create it. This is just a way for me to indicate what I have to do, what I don't. And it is much easier to understand. Let's minimize this because it's getting a little. I'll just maximize this to be working with this for a while. So we're going to need 4 files: the fxmanifest.lua, config.lua, client, and server. The fx is mumbo jumbo, saying what are dependencies, saying what kind of files we're using. In this case, it's config, client, and server, config, client, and server. So I don't understand why the master is not up here, over here, but it does appear here, which is weird. On OBS, it just disappears. Okay, so like I said, fxmanifest is just to say what we're using, what's happening, what our code is probably going to need. We need our config file to save all the information of the stashes, where it is, who has access to it, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have the client, which catches the events of opening the stash. This is something that's going to be run once when the script starts. I place this here. And the server side, the same thing is going to happen. Database, oops, Control Z, database. The same thing is going to happen on server side, but on server side it's more of a database situation, so don't worry about it. We're going to have a function also for stash opening, and we're also going to have a function that checks if the player can use or open the stash. So first off, let's start with fxmanifest. New file, paste, enter. as usual, we start with the same mumbo jumbo. Do not write the names wrong because then it won't work. You need these two files. These two lines is the most important thing of your FX manifest. The FX version, Cerulean, I think that's what you say it. Probably butchering it, and the game, which is GTA 5. The next part is name. Now let's call it BC stashes. These are not needed, but it does help to when you have when you're in your TX admin and trying to know what's happening here. Author, I'll put my name. Code PT. I would use PT without the PT, but there is always someone else with that name. And since I can't reserve that, I will use PT. So you can't find my name as BadCode, but on these little things I will probably put PT just to make sure that there is a difference. A description. Again, don't description. Don't make mistakes writing the names. Custom stash location with job gang citizen relations, I think, relations. And that's that. And the version, again, this is not needed, but it's always nice to have. Let's call it 1.1.1.0. 1.0.0. And now the gritty part. We're gonna have 4 sections: shared scripts, client scripts, and server scripts. Shared _ scripts are all scripts that can be searched by client and server. And that's going to be our config.lua. This is where all the data is going to be. You can't put a comma at the end. I would suggest you probably do it. That way there are no errors. Pretty sure we don't need it, but just leave it. We also need the client _ scripts Lua. And here we're going to put client.lua. Again, comma at the end. Server _ scripts. And probably may have to check these to see if everything is written correctly, because I do have a tendency to write letters and numbers wrong, or names. Server.lua, so if we do find any errors, I am sorry about that. And dependencies. Dependencies. I think it's like this. Dependencies. We're gonna need oxinventory. This is a script that needs these things. Oxinventory. And put this instead of that. Oxlib _ lib. And I don't think we need this, but I'm just gonna put it just for kicks and giggles. Code. No, not code, core. This is too much code. Okay, since we are using oxinventory and oxlib, we do have to mention that this right here, that way we don't have to put certain things in our on the top of the file. So I'm going to say ox_lib/init.lua. Don't forget the comma at the end. It is important. When you're working inside these, you do have to work with commas. 99.9 times of the time, you have to do it. Make sure everything is written correctly. Just make sure this is correct. .lua, config.lua, version, script. Because dependencies, I hope I wrote it right. Dependencies, yeah, we're good. Save that, save this. Okay, so our fxmanifest is done. We're ready. We're ready to go. So the next step is our config file. So let's create the config file. .lua. Let's put over here that we have completed this. Done. We're now working with this one. I've made it a certain type of file, but first, config files are always like this. Config equals dum. What this does, this initializes the variable config. That way we can use it later on, or in this case here. So config, we're going to use that variable, and we're going to add the table. This is kind of like a database. The table stashes. And stashes is going to be a nice little table right here. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create our first stash. And our first stash is going to be called, here we should use these, but I'm not sure if we can use the other ones. But it do have to be in some kind of quotes. Let's call this first underscore stash. Bam. And this is going to be another little table. I'm saying table, but it's a data structure, but it's kind of like a table. So what are we going to have in this table? We're going to have labels, label. We're going to have coordinates of the location. We're going to have a size, and we're going to have who accesses it. So label is just a text file. Just put first stash. Second, we can put the coordinates. This will be a vector 3. For now, I'm just going to put 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0.0, comma, 0, 0.0. These are floats in here. We're not going to use these values just to notify that these are floats and not integers. They can be used as integers, but you should use always floats. I forgot one thing here. We need a comma here. We need a comma here. When you're working inside these, you gotta use commas most of the time. And in this case, we're using it. So size. Here, we're gonna do a little subtable. And we're gonna create slots. Let's say 10. And weight, because we can limit our stashes to weights, so you don't have to put an engine inside your pocket, you know, it doesn't help. And these are grams, if I'm not mistaken. Between these two, this is kind of like this. I just put it like that so we don't occupy too much space. But this is how it looks. Remember the commas, same situation. You don't need a comma at the end, but you can put it. Let's put it like this and make it look. If it's something simple, small, you can put it like this. That way it doesn't occupy too much. And the axis. This is where all the good stuff is at. We are going to create a small mini table in here. Don't forget the comma at the end. I know some of you are already saying, he's forgot the comma. No, it's a disaster. So, well, as I said before, we're going to have this for jobs, gangs, citizens, and everyone. These are the four options that we can have for stashes. You can add more if you want, but these are the basic ones. I will just focus on these for now. In jobs, we can have more than one job in here. For example, we can put police equals 0, and depending on how you have your jobs for the EMS, it could be EMS or ambulance equals 0. The 0 is the level. For example, if you're just a rookie, you can access this. You can put only the captain, put it to 4. It depends on what you want or who you want to access the stash. It is up to you. You can have just one. You can have none if you don't want any, and that's it. And as I said, this is the same thing as this. It's just the way to simplify or occupy less space. It's up to you. If you have a lot of things, you should keep it like this, but if you're just having this little simple thing, you can put it like this. Gangs, same situation. Balas, I think, equals 0. If you only want the boss, you place the boss level. Same thing, balas, you can put various gangs here. It is up to you. Same works the same way as jobs. I put police here, but it could be also bean, as we once did that little script. Bean 0. Same thing. It is up to you. We're just gonna leave police for now. We can leave these two. No stress. We can take away this. Again, don't forget the comma. Citizens, same situation. I should have put this. Let's put the comma, and we'll get back to the citizens. Let's put the syntax here. Since we don't want everyone to mess around with our first stash, we're going to put this to false. So nobody touches the stash, only the people that do want it. This line has to always be here, or else everybody can. Actually, if it doesn't have it, it probably won't work. But it will probably crash the script, so you should place it here. Citizens. A citizen ID. Let's see if I can do it here. No, not this one. This one. Citizen ID, if you go to your database, be careful. Don't mess around with your database. If you search for player table, right here, players, you're going to see citizen ID. This is what I'm talking about. Copy this. It's going to be held a copy. Copy. Go back to your thing, paste it here. You don't have to put the quotes, it's not needed, and place it true. You can put more than one person here. It is up to you. We'll leave it like this for now. Again, you don't have to put the comma at the end, but if you have things in the middle, like here, equals true, you do have to put a comma right here. It is not necessary. We're just going to leave it there to show you that I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But we'll test it out and then we'll figure out what is the correct way. So we got our first stash. And we're going to leave it like this for now. We are going to save everything. We have done our config file. We're just going to leave this one here. Actually, let's add another one. Control C, Control V. Please note, this is why I do this. You can't have two stashes with the same name, it'll just delete items or just make a mismatch of everything that's saved. So we're gonna call this the weak stash, because everybody's gonna have access to this. We're gonna remove all of this and place true right here. This way everybody has access to this. So let's do this. We have done our config. We're not done. We're probably gonna go get the coordinates now. So go back to your game. Okay, so we're gonna choose two places. We're gonna choose these boxes. That's why I chose this location. And we're gonna choose this one. Actually, no. Yeah, this one right here. So, slash admin, developer options, copy that, go to your VPS and paste it right here. Bam. We got our first coordinates. Now we can put the other one. Let's do that too. Let's keep that window open just right here. We're doing this with a radius of 1.5. Let's copy that, go back to your VPS, paste. We did forget to change this to weak. Okay, so we got the coordinates, we got our fx manifest. Now let's go to our client.lua. So first off, client.lua, bam, and this is always the same for all the ePrompt. But before we do that, we do need to create a thread. Thread function. Every function ends with an end, and when the script starts, it's gonna run this. And what we're gonna need is for it to load up all the stashes that are in our thing. So first off, we're gonna use a for. We're gonna save a variable right here, ID, which is going to be this. Comma, the stash, which is going to be the interior of this. And I did a little boo-boo. I think I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Right here, we do need an equals. Like I said, so many things are going on in my mind to explain everything, and I may forget, so we may need to correct certain things during this event. So, stash in pairs, config.stashes. Please, again, be careful with the variable names. I mess up all the time. You will also too. This should be exactly the same as this. And we want it to do it. And then, as I said, each for has an end. Why did I write description here? I didn't write description, do. Why did, okay, I got it. It auto-filled. We do have a do. And what happens in here, we're gonna use the lib. since we have this here, we don't have to tell the client side that it needs to load up lib. It automatically loaded it up, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to do lib zones dot sphere. Again, I may make mistakes writing these things down. And inside the sphere, we're going to send somewhat like a table thing with all the information, which is going to be the coordinates. Coords will equal stash dot coords. What this is doing is it goes and gets information from here. What is it going to read? It's going to read this. This is going to be our stash ID. And in stash is going to be all the information that's in here. So that variable called stash is going to have the structure stash.label, stash.coordinates, stash.size, dot slots or dot weights, stash.access, dot jobs, dot gangs, dot citizens, dot everyone. So this is what we're getting here. Since we're creating the stashes, we mostly just need the coordinates. We're not going to need anything else. The second variable of this thing is the radius. We're going to put it default 1.5. Be careful, it's 1.5, not 1,5. We can place this in the config if you want. Just add it here, for example, radius. Did I write it right? Radius, yeah. Equals 1.5, comma. But most of the stashes are all this way. If you want to make different radius for different stashes, you can. But in this case, if we did it like this, you would, instead of being 1.5, we would put stash radius like this. But we don't want that. We just want everything to be 1.5. And that's the end of that. But if you can put it that way. Okay, so we got the radius. And we've got a few options inside the zone sphere. We have the onEnter, which when you go into that circle, the 1.5 radius circle, you're going to have to create a function. And do something inside that function. And as I said before, each function has an end. So inside here, we're going to use lib again. Dot show, I think it's lowercase, text UI. Open stash. You can write anything you want. Up to you. You can also add a message. For example, in a config, you can maybe place something like prompt, say e to open, or open stash. You can put anything else, but remember you have to put this in all of them, so it's up to you. And in the client side, in this part, instead of being like this, you can put stash dot prompt. It is up to you what you want to do on that part. So leave it as is. We don't want this. Like I said, you can alter this to whatever the way you want. It is up to you. I will leave this file up on GitHub. You do as you please. It's kind of like yours. So if you want to say that, do a little sharing or do a little, I don't know, say a word you got it. That is much appreciated, but you don't have to. This is all free. This is all stuff you can find on the internet. I'm just simplifying it for all of you to use and to understand what's going on. So let's save this so we don't lose it. So we're going to present a message. This is what happens when you go to that location. You also have on exit when you leave it, and you're going to hide that thing. So we're going to create another function. Like I said before, every function ends with an end. There we go. And we're going to put lib.hide text UI. Again, I may make mistakes in writing these things down. So I'm writing this on the fly, so I may have to correct it when you do. When you're inside that circle, you're going to run this little function. As I said, and when inside, you're going to run a little function. If is, I'm going to copy this because this is a lot and I don't want to mess it up. This is important that you write this correctly. Is control just released? This catches keys that you're pressing. 38 is the E key. I think this is the next key code, but this is the E key. And if this happens, we're going to call a function on our server. We're going to call an event on our server side, and we're going to do it trigger server event. If I do write something wrong, I'm sorry. I will fix it when I restart, when I run things around. Custom stashes open. This is the name of our trigger on the server side that we're going to send this whole thing over. And we're going to send the stash ID name that we got here. So the server knows, hey, we've created this. The client or the player wants to open this stash. So stash ID. Be careful with it, with the letters. I'm using a capital I here, and I have to use it everywhere else that it is in relation with this. If I write stash ID, this is going to be null, and it's going to crash your script. So be careful with letters. I keep saying this. This is important, and most likely you will do it too. So let's confirm everything. We're creating a script. Create thread that runs when the script runs. We're gonna go through all the stashes that are in here. You can have a whole 100, 200. Please note this will take a while to load. If you have more than 1 or 10 or something like that, it will go through all of this and create a sphere for all those locations with a radius of 1.5, and it will, when inside, do this, when outside, it will hide it, And if you're inside, if you do press this key, it will send something to the server. It will send a trigger to the server side to get information on opening the stash. So we're done here. Save all. I'm assuming everything is written correctly, but we will probably have to check this afterwards when we run the script. So we've done this one too. Client side is done for now. We will also add, I don't know if I mentioned this, use third eye on this also. We'll add that too. And you can choose, we'll put an option in the config for that. So the first thing we got to do on the server side is register all the stashes there. It is almost the same as the client side. Let's create the file here. Server.lua. Bam. Okay, let me just change it to okay. So here we do have to mention a few things. One is this local QBox equals exports.qbx underscore core. A few minutes ago I was having problems with this because I did this like this and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so exports.qbx core, and we also need one for ox. Ox equals export.ox. This is to simplify a few things down below, so we don't have to write this whole thing. Inventory. I hope I wrote everything right. Okay. We're going to need these later on, not yet. But the first thing we're going to do is register all the stashes onto the server. So as usual, create. We have to run this at least once before we start everything. This runs when we run this for the first time, it runs it once. You can do whiles in here if you want. Just be careful that you make an exit or a wait in parentheses 0 or whatever time you want it to be paused. So we're going to copy this from the client side so we don't mess up. 4 stashes. We're going to do exactly the same thing. Do end and this is where I was talking about. We do need the aux. Register stash. Again, this is a command with arguments. The first argument is stash ID. Which is this one right here. Make sure if it's the same, because if you use a lowercase ID, it's not going to work. We're going to use stash.label, stash.size.slots, and stash.size.weight and false. This This is for ownership situations, ownership restrictions and all that. And for you guys, you don't have to worry about that. So we can do something here just to make sure everything is loading up. We can place a print here. Registered stash ID, right? Yeah. We can put this here. It is not necessary. I'll just keep it for debugging purposes to know that they have loaded up. You can comment this later on. You don't need it. I think in the GitHub it's not here, but you can add it if you want. So first part done. We've created our loading of all the scripts. What this is going to do is going to go to config and load everything up, so the server knows that those things are in those locations. Second thing we need is the function that's going to get called, or in this case the net event that's going to get called from here. We're going to have to create one for this. So register net event. So you don't mess up, go to the client, copy this. This is extremely case sensitive and character sensitive, so there you go. And this is going to run a function inside this. So, and the function is going to have a variable, which is the stash ID. We're going to use capital I here. Again, be careful with the variables. I say this all the time, but you will mess up and you'll be looking for something wrong, and it's most certainly that it most definitely is a capital I for a lowercase I. It happens all the time. So we're going to need a few informations. One is the local source, which is the player, which we're going to get from source. Local player, which will save the information from this variable. We can use this one, but I like to do one like this. QBox get player scr. As you can see, this goes get this variable, which goes and gets this one. We can use this directly here. Most of the people do this. I don't know why. It is better because if you're going to use this lower down, all you have to do is put source instead of writing the whole thing down. So there. And we also need the stash information. So local, let's call it stash, equals config dot stashes. This is getting stuff from this variable, right, this file from right here. Sorry about that. Stash ID. The stash ID is the name that came from this, from the client side. Most likely you won't have stashes that are written wrong or anything like that, but this is a good way to catch errors because we're going to test if these things exist. So if player, no, let's do stash first. If not stash, then return end. We're not going to open the file because at the end here we're going to have our trigger event, which I'm going to copy and paste over here. This is to open the inventory, the source, as I said, We're getting it from here instead of writing source. We're just writing source stash and the stash ID, which we came from right here. If the stash doesn't exist, it'll just return, nothing happens. If not player, this is also something that shouldn't happen. But it doesn't hurt to have these things. And the final part is we're going to have to check the player if he has access or not to all of this. So if not can access, which is something we're going to make right now, stash player, this will return if true or false. All if ends with an end. If this comes back true, the player can access. It'll invert this and then send a message to the player saying that it can't access it. It's a reverse situation. I could also put this in here and remove the not, but I like it this way. If it reaches the situation, you can access the inventory. If it blocks away before here, you're not going to get access. So we do need a return right here. And also here, we're going to do a trigger client event, which it's right there. Ox underscore lib. I may need to check these things afterwards when I do compile everything. Notify. This is the main notify thing of Ox. Who we're going to notify, which is the source, and what we're going to send. We're going to send a little table. As you know, tables have lines. Type. This is the same for everything. You can use these later on, but you do need to have oxlib installed or else it won't work. So again, this is error. The other options, I think, is success, and there is one for a green one. I think it's information. I am not sure. I have to check that. And description equals you. Also, again, you can put whatever message you want here. It is up to you. Are not allowed to open this stash! Exclamation mark. Okay, so we've done these two. The thread that registers stashes, one that opens the stashes, and now we need this one right here. Can access. So we're going to go here to the beginning and we're going to put local. Local function can access. Again, careful with the names. Has to be exactly the same. You can always double click the name here. I'll select this and you'll see if it is exactly the same. And this was going to have, we're going to call what's coming from here is a stash and a player. So we're going to call this stash. Let's call it stash info to be different from this variable stash, so there won't be confusions here. Let's call it stash config. I don't know why. I'm using a capital C to differentiate, and the player information, which is also what we send here. Stash and player. Player, we can use the same one. There's no stress. Most of the time, the information is the same. there's no problem in using it the same name. But stash, there could be a problem. End, every function has an end, as I said before. We need to get 3 variables. Local seed, which is a citizen's ID, which we can get from player dot play data, if I'm not mistaken, dot citizen. I'll use the citizen ID to everything lowercase right here. This right here, player data, is a structure that this information has down here. It's kind of like this. Nope, not like that. Like this, but in its own way. Where are we? Up here. We also need one for jobs and gangs, just in case. Local jobs, or job in this case. This is going to get the job of the player. Same thing. Player data, job. Local gang equals player data dot gang. Okay, so we have our 3 variables that we need from the player. If you want more, you can get more. It's up to you. You can add all you want. So the first thing we're going to get on is if everyone case. We're going to just get this one out of the way. If this one is true, everyone has access to it. So if stash config, I'm writing it right? No, I'm not. It's stash config, see? You already know something's going on when it's not writing correctly. Access dot everyone. If this is true, then and return true. When this returns true, if everyone can access it, or is it right here? True becomes false. It's going to go through this. It's not going to do this, and it's going to run the open stash event. So we're done with our everyone. So let's go to our citizens one. If stash config dot access dot jobs, no, citizens, we're doing citizens, sid. What this is going to check, if the name sid is in here, it's going to get the value that's here. If this has a true in it, it's going to return true. So in this case, this statement will be true. Then return true. And okay, so we did our citizens one. Now we're just missing the job and the gang part, which is quite the same thing. Let's copy all of this so we don't have to keep writing this. We're going to remove all this, and we're going to put jobs, and we're going to put job.name. Again, job also has a little structure inside of it. It has name, has a whole bunch of other things. I think it has also the grade level, which we will see in a few seconds. If you don't want to worry about whatever level this is all you need, but in our case, we want our thing to be super professional, and we're going to try to get the min grade of the job. So let's call this min grade equals stash config dot access dot jobs job name This is going to get this information right here. If there's more than one, there's no problem. You'll read through all of them. It's what it does. And now, no, it doesn't read all of them. It gets the job that has that name. That way, you know what's going on here. And it's going to copy the value here. And now we're going to do a if job dot grade dot level. Also something from here, some structure from in here. If you want information, check it out. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff you can get from the job. It's pretty simple. Just search for player data, job, or gangs, whatever one you want to search. And if that job is bigger than or equal to min grade, then do this, end. Okay, there we go. This is the job part. Job name, verify everything is good. It gets the information from this stash, compares it. And if everything good, it returns true. Same thing with the gangs. I'm just going to copy and paste it. Same thing. Just change jobs to gangs. Gangs. Remember, if it's no S at the end, it's just gang. Same thing here. Just probably better to just sub job with gang. That way you won't make mistakes. But you do have gangs with plural and gangs with no S. And here too, gang. These are variables that are this, and this, and these are all the same. So you got your 4 cases: everyone, citizens, job, and gangs. You can add more options, like I said. You can add certain things here, like, I don't know, a new kind of gamer, maybe. You can add one of those and add that also to, you probably have to add certain scripts, different scripts here to this, but you can also add it. In theory, we are done. Let's check. We did this, we did this, we did this, and I can say we're done. Most likely this will probably crash because of variables that are written wrong and all that, but we will figure that out in a few seconds. So we've got the server. They can access the register stashes, open stashes. We are good. Again, you can place prints in here if you want to see all the information that's going on. Again, be careful with the eyes and lowercase, upper and lower cases. So everything is done. 4 stashes. Oh, duh. Function. And as I said before, end. You guys already saw that, but I didn't know. Again, another situation of function. Every function has an end. Right here. This was the error it was taken. Control S. Like I said, writing down stuff, we do make mistakes. As you can see, I messed up here in the fxmanifest. Scripts and scripts. This is scripts. Let me just confirm one thing before I go. There's no equals, so we're good. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. We do need commas in all this. I keep saying, people, every single line that we have, this is kind of like this. These are lines, but we place enter. Every time we're in these things, these brackets, we do need commas at the end. Given facts. Okay, so we got this one here doesn't need one, but you can add one just so we don't have problems. I am sorry for this, but this is a good learning situation where you understand that you will mess up and you will need to search all the things. So okay, we've got both of them registered on the client side too. So we're already seeing the open stash situation, so must mean it's this one right here. Yep. Open. We can put, I don't know, one Coca-Cola in here. One. Where's the other one? It should be this one. Or is the one over there? Oh, here it is. Again, let's put a cleaning thing right here. Bam. So let's check if it's still there. Yes, it is. Let's check if our Coca-Cola is here. It still is. We're gonna do something, see if this works. I don't know if it should work. Go back to your VPS. We're gonna show you something about the slots and weight. Like I said, we can't change it. Let's put the weak one at 5. Please note, if you have more stuff in the inventory than 5 slots, you may, and this is already created, you may lose things. You can reduce this to maybe 30. It's just to show you that these things do change. Restart, where it is, right here. Okay, I don't know which one is the weak one. It should be this one. Yeah, this is the weak one. We're now having 5 slots here, and we have only 30 kilos. And we have 10 slots, we have 50 kilos. So you see, as you can see, this influences things that happen in the game. I have everything to this. Maybe I can just put this ambulance here in job and put this to false. I'm not sure if I am or not. Let me just check. F10 jobs. I am not a medic or the ambulance part. Let's restart here. Make sure everything is saved. Restart. Go back to the game. It's the weak one, this one right here. As you can see, I don't have access to it because I'm not EMS. Let's change it to police. save it, restart it. Do this also. It should go out and back in just to make sure. Am I a police officer? Oh, because I'm not logged in it, I can't see. But if I do change it to this, toggle it on, go back out and back in. It's giving me an error, possibly. Let's go check. Oh, let's go to our number thing is in the server side. Again. Be careful with your names and all that. Like I said, this is a learning experience. You will have these problems, and just checking here, always click this part to see if everything is the same. I use a small g. I'm hoping this will solve that problem. Let's try that again. I am a police officer now. Okay, I can enter it. Just want to check if I can enter it while I'm not a police officer, because that I did not test. Let's change this to mechanic, switch that. So I'm not a police officer at this moment. Okay, so you do have to be in your police capacities. If you're not, it won't work. Let's confirm that. Let's go back to our PD. Not sure if we have to be on duty. Let me check. We do not have to be on duty, but we have to be with the job option chosen. Okay, same thing with gangs. We're going to choose the citizen's ID. This is my ID in this game. We're going to put this to true. I'm going to delete this. No, we'll leave it there. We're going to put this here, and we're going to see that we are going to be able to use it. Control S. Let me just go back. F12. What is my job? I am going to put it in mechanic. Okay. Close this. Going back to the thing to make it. Okay, we're going to reload. Refresh, restart. I am not a police officer, or I'm not logged into or clocked into that. I am a mechanic at the moment, but my ID is placed on, my citizen's ID is placed there, so this should work. It does. So now we are going to remove this ID. So you guys see that it does work. Minimize, close. Boom. So there you have it. And of course, I'm not sure if I did test it. I think I did right off the bat, that everyone can have access to this. If you put it like this, no one will enter, so you do have to put this to true. Restart, reload. Everyone can access this. Boom. So there you have it. That's how you do it. That's how you create stashes. Like I said, you can evolve this. The version oh, wait a minute, I forgot something. I forgot to add to the client the option to do both. So On the client side, actually we're going to have to add another variable here. Config dot, what did I call this? Can't remember. UseTarget. UseTarget. Let's put this to true. Okay, our config is done, ready for action. Now here, you can delete this, we don't need this. You can leave it if you want. This and this right here, not needed. So what we're gonna, inside the for, we're gonna have two options. If, one second, wrong location. If config dot use target, then else end. If it's use target, we don't have that code yet. If it's the other one, we use this. Okay, else, okay, this part here, important, boom. Now we have to make this part. I am going to copy paste it from what I have here. Don't think it's necessary to do this. If you want to research in more in details, you should do that. So I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste it. Just want to confirm that the variables are the same. Name. We don't have to use this here. We could just use stash ID. Don't know why I do that. Stash label. This is something I copied from online. It is exactly the same thing as down here. It's a little different in this aspect. We do need an icon. We can add change the icon. You can put the debug, put the size. Again, you can put this in the config, save it that way. So, in other words, this should be it. Let me just confirm that name, label, icon is not important. Stash ID. Remember, I is in capital letters and small letters, very important. Refresh, reload. Let's see if the server side had any errors. No errors whatsoever. We removed this. This is not there anymore. So, in other words, you can already see the icons are already there. When I alt click, this is the weak stash. This is the other stash. Again, if you don't want this, you can go back to your thing, go to config file, and put this to false. Reload, restart. I'm pressing Alt, but they're not there anymore, as you can see. And if we get close, there it is. Open stash. Open stash. As you can see, that's how you do it. This is a simple stash thing. I know we had some errors there, but it is important to know that those errors happen and that you have to look for them. And knowing that these errors happen, it is much easier to find them out. There is a GitHub of this. I'll leave that link in the description. You can download it there. This GitHub will evolve. It's the simple version. We will use it to continue to add new options to it. The next one will be adding various frameworks. We are going to prepare this for qbcore and ESX using oxinventory and oxlib. You will need that to continue. So, and we will try to work with that. And afterwards, we'll also try to add the language. Again, this is something that will be added to that GitHub. We're not going to create a new one. This is the script evolving. You can always download the script whenever you want. You can do whatever you want with it. If you would like to give me some credit for it, that would be interesting. Send them my way. If they want to learn some more stuff. Like I said, I like playing around with these things. It is fun. It is amazing. Again, thank you so much for watching. That is good for me. Well, I think that's it. That's all. This is probably a part 1 of a 3-part clip of stashes. I've decided to go this way because explaining how to install scripts, I don't know. I'll do it if you guys ask. If a lot of people ask for that, I will do it. But I think it's more fun to make scripts here and learn to make scripts instead of using scripts from other people. And you'll thank me later on when that happens. And that's the way we'll probably go. Like I said, the next 2 videos will be changing this to be used also in qbcore and ESX. I don't think it's that hard to do. We just have to be ready for those situations. Probably if that one goes faster than normal, I will probably make a whole section for the notifications. If you're using different notifications to add that to a script. This is kind of like creating your own scripts the way you should create it. The way all scripts should be created. So that's it. That's my opinion. If you like it, good. If you don't, you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, this is a learning experience. I am learning how to teach. I do explain a lot. I know I do. But from other people that I've seen on the internet explaining, they just say, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that, and they don't explain why. I like to explain why, and that way you guys know. Okay, I'm done babbling. Thank you so much for listening. If you did like the video, leave a like. That does help out the channel. If you want to be informed of new videos, hit that subscribe and the notification button to be informed. Again, thank you so much for the subscriptions. We are almost at 500. I think we only need 50 more. Wow. I don't know what to say. We're gonna make it before the end of November, the way the things are going. But again, thank you so much. It really. I know I haven't been posting in a while. Maybe because of the situation, I'm getting a little bit of writer's block of what to pick, and I'm noticing that probably I don't want to pick scripts to show you how they install or how they look. I don't mind doing it, that'll be fun, but choosing the right script to do that, it's a little hard. Like I said, if you guys want one, and if I see a lot of people asking for it, I will do a how to install thing like that. But we are going to go and start doing it this way. We're going to make scripts. Mostly, for now, we're going to just initialize on QBox, then add all the other frameworks, qbcore and ESX, and other ones that may appear. They'll be formatted that way, and also adding the language. When I get better experience, I'll probably do the UIs and all that, like MDT and all that graphical design. I've been trying to learn that. It's a little complicated for me. I'm more backside instead of front end, or back end instead of front end. So that is, again, here I am babbling again. Okay, so as I said, I'm probably going more to making scripts than actually showing how other scripts work, because I think you guys learn better with that. And I think that is it. Again, thank you so much for all the support. It is amazing. Thank you. Much appreciated. We are almost at 500, and it's all because of you guys. All because of you guys. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.